The light has guided you back to your rightful place, chosen one. If you're watching this video and reading these words, I expect you to understand something profound. This isn't an accident. This isn't an accident. This is not the algorithm that serves up content at random. There is an event that is far more significant. The divine orchestrated this encounter. Your spirit and this message have arrived at this exact point of convergence as a result of the divine's alignment of circumstances, the removal of obstacles, and the movement of parts. You are about to determine the cause of the recent perceived disparity in your existence. The cause of the ongoing restlessness. The reason you can't sleep at unusual hours. The cause of the intense stirring in your soul that you are unable to fully articulate. The answer is near, and the information I'm about to share will significantly alter your perception of your identity, purpose, and the extraordinary season into which you are entering. The divine has communicated. There is an absolute necessity to convey the message. The time has come, and you, yes, have been specifically chosen for an experience that will leave you in awe. The world we know is about to undergo a transformation. The universe is about to undergo a transformation. A spiritual realignment of this magnitude has not occurred in generations. Individuals who remain disconnected from the divine truth. People who have withdrawn from the source. People who built their lives on sand rather than rock. This transition will be felt as devastation, a collapse, and the abrupt instability of what was once stable. However, you are the one whom heaven has summoned. Every adversity, valley, and moment of apparent defeat has matured an individual's spirit. This change denotes a completely distinct phenomenon. This transition represents your progress, ascent, and breakthrough. The door you've been repeatedly banging on is about to be fully opened. The prayers you prayed in desperation are about to be answered with such ferocity that you will be left speechless. Take note that I am using a novel approach. It is beginning to emerge. Is it not obvious to you? I am making a path in the wilderness and streams in the desolation, which is Isaiah chapter 43, verse 19, and it speaks directly to your current situation. Before we proceed, I would like you to complete a critical task. If you resonate with this message and believe the truth is being communicated, please click the like button right away. Allow it to be your agreement with the heavens. Allow it to serve as proof that you are ready for the upcoming events. Additionally, as we work through this together, please leave a comment with the word prepared. Just that one syllable. It will set off an event in the spiritual realm. It will distinguish you as someone who is not only listening, but also responding. May divine favor be multiplied in the lives of all who show their support by offering an extraordinary thanks or making any other contribution. Sevenfold. May every seed you plant yield a harvest that exceeds your expectations. Stay with me until the end because you will feel the weight of each word if you are truly one of the chosen, and your spirit bears the mark of divine selection. You will recognize yourself from the description. The clamor will grow louder as time passes. This message did not come to you at random. You were drawn to this location by forces that you may not fully understand. However, everything will soon be completely understandable. You may have dismissed certain indicators in your life as tension, imagination, or overthinking. However, I will reveal to you their true nature. Your spirit has woken you up at 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. when the rest of the world is sleeping, but your soul refuses to sleep. You are lying in the darkness, and your mind is racing with ideas. Though anxiety may accompany them, these are not apprehensive thoughts. These are distinguishable. These are divine downloads of understanding, promptings, and stirrings that your conscious mind struggles to grasp. That is not considered insomnia. That isn't a sleep disorder. That is paradise preparing you, speaking to you in the quiet hours when distractions are removed. You are experiencing conversations in a new way. A person says something mundane, something they've said 100 times before, but it suddenly becomes significant. It leaves an indelible impression on your spirit. You think about it for days. Words that had previously eluded you now cut deep. This does not indicate that your sensitivity has increased. That is the process of improving your spiritual perception. That is the activation of your ability to hear beneath the surface. God is adjusting your ears so that you can hear what others cannot and perceive what others cannot see. Old habits that once filled you with joy now leave you feeling empty. Entertainment that was once a source of distraction is no longer keeping your attention. Mao. Routines that once provided solace now appear to be similar to prison barriers. The question remains, is this the full extent of the universe? Was I created for this purpose? Is this the end of my existence? Depression is not the focus of those investigations. You are not losing your bearings by asking such questions. God is disrupting your comfort by asking those questions, because comfort has become your adversary. You remain diminutive due to your comfort. Your safety is guaranteed by your comfort. Comfort prevents you from pursuing your destiny, which requires you to enter the unknown. The world's din has become more oppressive. Social media consumes energy at an accelerated rate. During news cycles, you tire faster. You are more irritated by meaningless conversations. You are seeking profundity. You're looking for something substantial. You require truth just as much as you do oxygen. That doesn't mean you're becoming antisocial. This does not indicate that you are becoming resentful. What your spirit rejects no longer nourishes it. You are gradually being weaned away from the artificial in order to experience the genuine. Joel, you are being cleansed of the superficial in order to deal with the profound. If you are nodding in agreement, indicating that you agree with my experience, you must understand the implications of this. You aren't in disarray. You are not experiencing a mental breakdown. You have not been damaged. You are being roused. You are currently in the process of activation. You are being summoned, and awakening is not optional. Once God initiates this process, it is impossible to return to sleep. Ignorance cannot be reversed. What has been observed is irreversible. It is impossible to stop hearing what you have heard. The curtain has been removed. As the scales have fallen from your eyes, you must now enter the always existing reality, even though you were unable to perceive it until now. This transformation occurring within you is part of a much larger event. God is currently traversing the earth with purpose and force. He is agitating everything that is prone to swaying in order to protect what is impervious to shaking. Systems built on falsehoods will eventually fail. Institutions built on corruption will ultimately fail. Structures built on vanity will collapse. Only that which is founded on truth, rooted in righteousness, and anchored in eternity will survive the upheaval. As a result, we should be grateful for the unshakable dominion we are receiving. As a result, reverence and awe are appropriate responses to God. That is Hebrews chapter 12, verse 28. You may observe yourself and conclude, I am not prepared for this. I do not meet the necessary qualifications. I am insufficiently strong. I am far too defective. I have made an inordinate number of errors. I have failed far too many times. I have disappointed an inordinate number of people. How could paradise choose someone like myself? However, pay close attention to the following statement, which will set you free from that deception. God does not summon the equipped. He provides the summons with the required equipment. He will not make a decision based on your resume. He makes his decisions based on your emotions. He doesn't assess your abilities. He bases his decision on the level of cooperation you demonstrate. Moses was unable to communicate effectively. David grew up as a shepherd. Gideon was hidden inside a wine press. Esther was orphaned. Peter denied Christ 3 times. Paul persecuted the church, but each individual was chosen. They were all put into action. Each and every one of them changed the course of history. Your past does not disqualify you. Your shortcomings do not make you ineligible. Your shortcomings do not disqualify you. In fact, they may be the very thing that qualifies you because they have instilled in you a sense of humility. They instilled in you the concept of dependence. They have taught you that you are incapable of accomplishing anything on your own, but that with God's assistance, you can accomplish anything. God is our refuge and strength, a constant source of help in times of trouble. This is Psalm 46, verse 1. When opposition grows, pressure mounts, or trouble strikes, he does not watch from afar. He intervenes, shows up, and steps in. All that is needed is faith. Just faith, not flawless faith, not massive faith, but mustard seed faith. Enough to provide an affirmative response. Enough to begin the process. It is enough to trust that he will transport you if he summons you. As this divine plan plays out and the shift accelerates, a line of separation will emerge. It will be undeniable. It will be obvious. When the truth is revealed, certain people become insensitive. Individuals may compromise their beliefs in response to mounting pressure. When faced with the need to remain vigilant, some people may become complacent. They will choose comfort over contacting. They will place safety above obedience. They will prioritize the approval of others over that of God. However, you will not be counted among them. You are not a member of that organization. You will be positioned on the opposite side of the line. You will be among those who rise when others fall, who shine when others fade, and who stand firm when others crumble. If you are experiencing a deep-seated stirring and a sense of excitement in your chest, please subscribe to this channel. Encourage us to make progress toward our goal. Leave a comment below to join this global movement of selected individuals. Please specify which city you are monitoring. Please notify me of the current time in your location. We must determine the extent to which this message is spread. We need to figure out how many people are waking up at the same time. God had warned of a coming storm. While physical manifestations may occur, this is not a physical tempest. A turbulent spiritual environment. A storm would demonstrate the true nature of humans. A tempest that would reveal the difference between authenticity and performance. A storm that would separate those who built their homes on granite and those who built them on sand. And when the wind blows and beats against the houses, when the rain falls, when the floods come, the one on rock will stand firm, whereas the one on sand will collapse with a loud crash. This collapse is described in Matthew chapter 7, verse 27, and it is about to occur in real time. Individuals who severed their connection with God, rejected divine truth, and saw faith as merely a spare tire. Something kept in a safe location but not considered until an emergency occurs. They will find the coming days to be unbearable. Pressure will come from all directions. Their relationships were strained as people they trusted revealed their true selves. Their finances are in jeopardy due to the unreliability of the systems on which they rely. Their mental health is under strain as fear, anxiety, and confusion worsen without relief. Everything they relied on started to wobble and tremble, putting pressure on their stability. Their indifference will morph into hysteria. Their arrogance will lead to desperation. Their self-reliance will be inadequate. In that moment of crisis, they will look for a solid object to hold on to, and many will find nothing but the one you have chosen. You have not been summoned to fear. You are being called to rise. Your faith acts as a shield, deflecting all attacks. Your purpose serves as a compass, guiding you through each storm. When everything else is in flux, your anchor serves as your connection to the transcendent. There is no need for concern because I am present. Be not afraid, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. Certainly I am willing to help. I will support you with my righteous hand. The passage in question is Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. Please read them again slowly. Allow them to permeate your soul. This is not a lyric. This is not motivating. This is an agreement. This is a promise. This is divine reassurance. As the stress increases, so does His strength in you. His compassion grows in tandem with the spread of opposition. His presence grows in sync with the battle's intensity. I must now tell you about those who have strayed from God's path. Those who became engrossed in the pursuit of success, pleasure, validation, or any other goal other than one that truly fulfills. Those who built their entire identity around careers that failed them, relationships that ended, and accomplishments that were ultimately meaningless. Those who claimed that they did not need God. They had it all figured out. They were able to function properly on their own. They are currently facing a critical moment, a moment of realization, and God's mercy is reaching out with unprecedented zeal to return them home. Some are returning at a faster rate than expected. People whom you thought were too far gone. Individuals who appeared completely inflexible. Individuals who mocked believers, disparaged faith, and declared God irrelevant. They reappeared unexpectedly. Not because they suffered a catastrophic collapse, though a large number of them did. Not because life became unbearable as it did for many, but because God is calling them, their spirit is hungry, and the emptiness became too loud to ignore. The same people who fled love are now rushing toward it. The same people who inflicted the injuries are now seeking recovery. Individuals who previously claimed to be invincible are now admitting that they are flawed. You, the chosen one, are a part of their restoration. You are a critical component of their return. However, it is not necessary to stand at the door with your arms crossed and say, "I told you so." It's not a case of forcing them to apologize. It's not about imposing their past transgressions on them. It's about being the hand that reaches down to pull them up. It is about demonstrating to them that God's love remained even after they left. The goal is to demonstrate grace in situations where others are judgmental. It refers to the expression of compassion in situations where others are dismissive. He will not extinguish a smoldering wick or break a bruised reed. This is Matthew chapter 12, verse 20. That is God's attitude toward those who are wounded. That is His take on them. Not as trash to throw away, but as treasures to be reclaimed. Additionally, you must take the same stance. Before we proceed, if this message resonates with you and you feel the weight of this calling, please confirm your agreement by clicking the like icon again. Additionally, if you have not yet left a comment, please do so now. Please enter the number 777. That number represents divine perfection and completion. Let that serve as your indicator. Please accept this as your declaration. Take a close look. The scope of God's plan is vast. This is a personal matter. It is precise. Whether they realize it or not, everyone is involved. You, chosen one, are no more valuable than any other person in God's eyes. You are not a superior. You are not a superior. You are the one who responded to his phone call. You are the person who responded positively to other people's rejections. You are the one who kept a calm demeanor in the face of adversity. You are the person who refused to let resentment take away your happiness. You are the one who refused to let suffering silence your prayers. You are the one who has refused to let betrayal seal your heart. You held the door open. You maintained the light. Despite the presence of doubt, you remained convinced. Those who have not yet awakened, or who are spiritually unconscious, are not disposable. However, they are not forgotten. They are not unreachable. It is your responsibility to refrain from harboring animosity toward them. It is not your responsibility to assess them. It is your responsibility to love them into awakening, to pray for them into revelation, and to live in a way that they cannot ignore. Allow your light to shine before others so that they may see your good deeds and honor your Father in heaven. Matt, chapter 5, verse 16. They are examining your life as a sermon. Your decisions are sending a message to them. Your tranquility in the midst of chaos promotes the source of that tranquility. Your adversary will attempt to break your concentration. He will try to persuade you that this time is about your comfort, convenience, and well-being. However, at this time, the focus is on a kingdom. This moment is centered on souls. This moment's focus is on eternity. Individuals are dying without any hope. Individuals' lives are purposeless. Individuals wander aimlessly. And God has designated you as a lighthouse in their storm, a guide in their darkness, and a voice of truth in their confusion. Your assignment is not insignificant. Your calling is not trivial. The items you transport are more important than you may realize. There will be times when you suspect you misheard the call. Days when you doubt the veracity of any of this. There are days when you want to abandon the journey because it is more difficult than you expected. Keep this in mind when those situations arise. Each prophet experienced doubt. Every disciple experienced fear. Each selected vessel encountered opposition. The burning bush made Moses doubt his faith. Jeremiah had some reservations about his youth. Isaiah had reservations about his impure lips. Nonetheless, God did not abandon them in their uncertainty. He reinforced them. He supplied them with the required equipment. I was carrying them. The same will be true for you. The approaching storm will be violent. I will not deceive you by pretending that everything will be easy. Shaking will be severe. The tests will be deemed severe. The opposition is predicted to be fierce. However, your foundation is unshakable. You cannot be built on shifting sand. You were built on a solid rock foundation. Regardless of the torrential rain, floods, and howling winds, you will remain unmoved. Be confident that you will not be shaken. You will not be destroyed. In reality, you'll be more resilient. You will gain a better understanding. Because genuineness is not hampered by pressure, you will emerge more refined than when you arrived. Pressure reveals an object's strength. Now is the time to strengthen your faith. Feed it right away, while there is still time. Provide it with the Word of God. Continue reading until the truth becomes more real than the circumstances. Offer it worship. Praise until your spirit exceeds your circumstances. Provide testimony, remembering every occasion on which God has provided. Offer it companionship, making connections with people who share your passion. Protect it from any factors that may undermine it. Protect it from those who criticize it. Keep it away from environments that would suffocate it. Avoid games that require a compromise. Avoid distractions that will deplete your anointing. Avoid relationships that take your attention away from your goals. Seize the possessions God has bestowed upon you. Secure it fervently. It must be fervently protected. It is critical that you exercise caution because the items you possess are of great value. Your belongings are formidable. Your belongings are urgently needed at this time. There is no longer any reason for hesitation. The era of playing small is over. The era of hiding behind fear has ended. Throughout the world, the chosen ones are rising. Is this something you can relate to? You may notice it. There is currently a stirring going on. A mobilization. A gathering of those who have been designated, summoned, and reserved for this specific moment in history. It is now your turn to fully embody divine power. Power is not a tool for controlling others, not the ability to manipulate or control. Power should not be used to boost ego or gain recognition. But power has a purpose. Capacity to repair what has been damaged. The ability to repair existing damage. The ability to rebuild what has been destroyed. Influence to bring life to lifeless situations. Walking with authority causes darkness to flee. You are not the source of this energy. This energy passes through you. It is the outcome of being connected to the source. By keeping a connection to the vine, from staying in his presence. You do not need to wait for ideal conditions to take action. You are not required to wait until all inquiries are addressed. You do not have to wait until all uncertainties have been resolved. You do not need to wait until you are completely prepared, because you will be forced to wait indefinitely if you wait for complete readiness. Faith isn't the absence of fear. Faith is persevering in the face of apprehension. Faith is the ability to obey even when you are trembling. Faith is the ability to say yes when one does not fully understand the situation. The time is now. This very moment. God has already provided you with all the resources you need for this season. It is possible that you have not seen it yet. You may observe yourself and notice inadequacy, limitation, or vulnerability. His point of view, however, is quite different. He notices the resilience that is being built within you as a result of each act of obedience. Every time you arrive, regardless of how you feel. Each time you choose faith over fear. Each time you keep your commitment to him rather than giving in to anxiety. As a result of your obedience, something within you is developing. Every action is a brick. Every decision creates a foundation. When you overcome resistance, your structure is reinforced by a steel beam. Your willingness to surrender has already resulted in the development of the wisdom you so desperately seek. Establish your own comprehension, acknowledging that you do not have all of the answers. By showing a willingness to be led, corrected, and redirected by the Holy Spirit. The courage you seek is already growing within you with each decision to speak the truth, even if your voice trembles. Every time you choose to stand alone rather than compromise with the masses, you consistently act in accordance with your moral compass, regardless of the outcome. Stepping into your power is similar to accepting the identity you were meant to have since the beginning of the world, prior to the start of time. Before the stars were set on their respective paths, God designed your life, a framework for your objectives, a strategy for influencing this generation and future generations. It requires walking with confidence rather than arrogance. Confidence is based on knowledge of one's identity and accomplishments. Confidence that stems from one's identity rather than their achievements. The ability to stay confident in the face of changing circumstances. It entails direct confrontation with obstacles, avoiding adversity, refusing to avoid difficult conversations, refusing to take the easy route when the right one is more difficult. It implies an absolute certainty that you are not alone. God will always be with you. That you are equipped to complete any task using the strength of His Spirit. That His presence surrounds you during each conflict. It entails providing exceptional service in the absence of outside observers. Even when one has authority, it is essential to lead with humility. Protecting what is vulnerable. Building something that is defective. Healing the injured. Giving direction for what has been lost. And as you ascend into this calling, keep in mind why you're doing it. Not for the sake of applause from people who will forget about you the next week. Not for recognition that fades as soon as a new phenomenon captures the public's interest. Not for the purposes of reward, compensation, or material gain. You do this activity to honor God. You do this because He is worthy of your best efforts. It is because eternity is watching you do so. You do it because your obedience is necessary for someone's salvation. Your loyalty is essential to an individual's recovery. An individual's success is determined by their willingness to participate. If this message has captivated your spirit, if you have not already done so, please subscribe if you are receiving a high volume of responses. Join this community of awakened individuals and leave a comment describing the emotion you are currently experiencing in a single word. One single word. Let us create a tapestry of testimony. We should observe how God influences the hearts of people all over the world. I will ask you directly, and I would like an honest response from your spirit. Will you be able to respond to this call? Will you rise to the challenge? Will you let go of the old burdens that have stifled your progress? Fear has immobilized you. Uncertainty has limited you. Your insecurity has resulted in silence. The desire for approval that has consumed you. The small but safe comfort zones have ensured your safety. Will you fully embrace the calling that has been following you all your life? Regardless, you fled. Despite your efforts to ignore it. Despite your own belief that you were unqualified. As a result of the world's continuous transformation, it is perceptible to everyone, regardless of their understanding. Instability does exist. Uncertainty. A sense that something significant is about to occur. Furthermore, you were not transported this far solely to return at this time. You didn't survive everything you did. I'm simply looking to withdraw once the actual task begins. You were not transported through each valley solely to camp in the shadow when the mountain begged you to climb. You were brought here to stand firm when others falter. To take the initiative when others are hiding. Not to radiate one's own light, which eventually fades. However, with the illumination of the individual who called you out of the depths of darkness and into his incredible light, as you progress from here. As you begin the next chapter of your story, keep these truths in mind. When fear tries to influence your decisions, choose faith. Choose to trust in God's promises over your emotions. Choose His character over your circumstance. When you have feelings of isolation, when it appears that no one understands the situation you are in, it's important to remember that God is there. I am not observing from afar, not from a heavenly viewpoint, close to the present. Participant. I'll be with you through each blaze, accompanying you through all adversity. In the event that the storm becomes loud, when noise levels become excessive, when the chaos threatens to drown out all other influences, maintain your calmness. Do not be influenced by visual stimuli that you see with your eyes. Do not be concerned about the sounds your ears detect. Don't be discouraged by the length of time it takes. Maintain your connection to the written word. Maintain a solid basis in reality. Maintain His assurances. Keep in mind that delays are not denials. Keep in mind that God's timing is perfect, even if it defies your understanding. Regardless of whether or not you can see any evidence, keep in mind that He is working behind the scenes. The revolution has started. It is not coming. It is there. Right now, this is the case. In addition, you are not a spectator. You are not a spectator. You are not present in the audience. You are a proactive participant. You are a representative. This world is in desperate need of what you're carrying. This is your chance. This is your moment. This is your decision. All of your preparation has been geared toward this moment. Each challenge provided an opportunity to improve fortitude. With each betrayal, you gained discernment. Each setback forces you to become more humble. Each victory served as a reminder that God is reliable. Nothing was lost. There was no random element. Every item served a purpose. Are you willing to respond? Are you willing to take the initiative? Will you sincerely respond in the affirmative, as there are people eagerly awaiting your transformation into the person you were meant to be? Your decision to obey will alter the lives of others. Your obedience to your calling will lead to the unlocking of destiny. Your refusal to be modest will have far-reaching consequences for generations. Your affirmation is important. Your obedience is important. At this point, you cannot fully comprehend the significance of your loyalty. Don't wait another day. Don't let another week pass in fear. Don't let another month go by in doubt. The situation is urgent. It's time. The call is clear, and you already have everything you require inside you. Before you were born, God placed it there. He wired you for it. He created you specifically for this purpose. He created you specifically for this purpose. Now get into it. Walk in. Run into it with confidence, faith, and absolute trust that He who began a good work in you will see it through. This is your opportunity, chosen one. Do not let it pass you by. The entire world is waiting. Heaven is watching, and your fate is calling. The question is, will you answer? Chosen one, I urge you to pay close attention to me right now, because the information I'm about to share will completely dispel any doubts you may have about your true identity. 3 weeks ago, your adversaries committed an act so calculated and desperate that it crossed the line between the physical and spiritual worlds. I'm not using poetic language or metaphors when I say they gave your photo to an angel. I'm going to tell you about a true story in which people who hate you so much were able to enter celestial dimensions in order to get angelic confirmation of your identity. They were certain that the toxic narratives they had been spreading about you would be validated by heaven itself when an angel examined your essence through your image. They expected to be condemned. They relied on their own judgment. They expected celestial authorities to observe you and conclude that you are the exact person their adversaries claimed. However, when the angel saw your photograph, he did something that terrified everyone present. The reaction was so shocking that I had to stop what I was doing to observe it. The angel's bow was not just a casual nod of recognition. Your enemies revealed your identity to your own celestial army, believing they were exposing you, with a full reverent bow reserved only for souls bearing marks of higher dimensions. Instead, they elicited a recognition of your inherent identity. One thing will become clear as you discover the exact events that occurred at that time and understand why angelic reverence destroyed their entire strategy against you. You are not an ordinary person being evaluated using conventional criteria. You are a chosen one who has been recognized by forces that have protected you since your conception. Subscribe to this channel right away and turn on all notifications, because the revelation I'm sharing about angelic recognition is being deliberately suppressed by those who don't want you to understand the extent of celestial protection that is already in place in your life. And if you recognize your own divine essence being revealed through what I'm telling you and are eager to learn what happens when angels identify souls operating on their frequency, please leave 777 in the comments. I'd like to transport you to the exact moment 3 weeks ago, when I witnessed the events unfold in real time. It was most likely late at night, around 10 p.m. And 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. You were alone, reflecting on the catastrophic event that had occurred just moments before. Perhaps someone you had completely trusted betrayed you in the most heinous way possible. Or perhaps someone disseminated malicious fabrications with the intent of tarnishing your reputation, and you had all of the necessary evidence to publicly expose them, including screenshots, recordings, and witnesses, all of which would have been enough to totally undermine their credibility. Alternatively, it is possible that someone attacked you when you were most vulnerable, taking advantage of your vulnerability, questioning your character, and mocking your pain because you were already broken. Whatever it was, you experienced a combination of rage, hurt, and an overwhelming desire for justice. Your chest was constricted. Your hands trembled. In your mind, the perfect words were forming, devastating sentences that would reveal them completely. You had the option of selecting send. You could have destroyed them. No one would have held you accountable. You were completely justified. Your finger was positioned above the send button. The message was composed on a keyboard. All that was needed was to press it. At that exact moment, an event occurred within you that I had been expecting for years. You stopped not because you were afraid of the consequences, but because you heard a voice within you that was deeper than rage and more discerning than vengeance. You deleted the message. You stopped using the telephone. Silence was your preference. When it was justified to destroy, you chose restraint. When war would have been understood, you chose dignity. And that single decision generated a frequency that traveled through all dimensions of reality, directly to my throne. My attention was not drawn to the measures you took to prevent them. You revealed your true nature during that moment of extreme restraint. You have accomplished an act that qualifies you for protection, a privilege that the majority of individuals never attain. You have demonstrated that you operate from a state of consciousness that is indicative of celestial wisdom. and your adversaries who noticed your silence made a disastrous error in judgment. They interpreted your reserve as an indication of vulnerability. They believed that your refusal to retaliate demonstrated a lack of authority. They concluded that your silence indicated defeat, so they decided to escalate the situation. This is the point at which human malice turns to spiritual ignorance. Your adversaries were so convinced of your inadequacy that they resolved to seek validation from dimensions other than human judgment. They entered realms that were previously thought to be impossible, communicated with entities, and accessed spiritual channels. They performed a ritual. Practitioners were consulted. They spent time, money, and energy attempting to gain access to spiritual authorities. I'm still watching them realize that they should never have tried, albeit through various means. An angel was shown your photo. They directly submitted your identity to celestial authorities, expecting to receive confirmation of every criticism they had leveled at you. They relied on angels to validate their earthly prejudices. They believed that heaven itself would evaluate your essence and agree with their assessment. However, they made an irreversible error in their calculations. They were unaware that angels can instantly identify chosen souls, regardless of how many humans fail to recognize this reality. When that angel received your photograph, celestial perception focused on your essence through your image, much like a soldier recognizing a general's insignia, a subject recognizing royal emblems, or an angel recognizing a soul carrying higher dimensional signature marks. There was no need for a gradual analysis, meticulous consideration, or debate regarding your status. The angel saw your celestial mark and responded in a way that was completely appropriate for the situation. He bowed in reverence, and that one gesture of hierarchical recognition annihilated every strategy your enemies had devised to attack you. When they saw the angelic reaction, their eyes filled with terror. They discovered that you are not the problematic person they had always assumed you were. Your soul has been chosen, but they were unable to recognize it due to human consciousness limitations, which were obscured by resentment and envy. They believed that sending your photo to an angel would reveal your unworthiness. Rather, they exposed their spiritual blindness. They attempted to demonstrate that you are not worthy of respect. Rather, they demonstrated that you are deserving of the protection of heaven. They sought celestial condemnation. Instead, they initiated celestial activation. Write 888 in the comments if you are starting to realize that the mechanism of your elevation was the result of the destruction that your enemies had planned. However, reverence was only the start of the angel's activities. Since that moment 3 weeks ago, your adversaries have been terrified by the events that followed. The angel established the most stringent security protocols to protect your entire identity. This was not the usual spiritual protection that a large number of souls receive. This was Level 7 protection, the most advanced level of angelic shielding, which is only available to select individuals who are performing critical missions in earthly dimensions. Protection that renders you spiritually untouchable, causing the perpetrator to multiply any attack against you. The angel has created a permanent energetic field around your essence that acts as a celestial radar, constantly monitoring anyone who is plotting against you, harboring sabotage thoughts about you, or expressing conspiracies for your demise. And when this angelic shielding detects threats against you, it does not merely shield you from harm. It reflects the attack back to its source at a proportional intensity. Every criticism they make behind your back is later redirected as criticism. Others speak from behind their own. Every opportunity they sabotage for you, they also sabotage for themselves. The reputation damage they attempt to inflict on you is the same reputation damage they themselves suffer. Whether you are aware of it or not, this is what I call the mirror protocol, and it is currently in effect in your life. Your adversaries are perplexed, profoundly perplexed, because previously effective strategies are no longer effective, and plans that are expected to succeed are utterly failing. The support on which they relied abruptly disappears, and they are unable to comprehend the changes that have occurred because it operates on dimensions beyond their perception and reach. The change that occurred was straightforward. They attacked someone I vowed to protect, and when I protect someone, the rules of their reality change fundamentally. I'd like to provide an explanation of your journey to help you make sense of the events that have occurred. You did not just pass one exam. You successfully completed 3 unique assessments that are only available to a select group of people. These challenges were not arbitrary. I used these assessments to determine whether you are eligible for the protection level you recently acquired. The initial assessment was that the collapse would occur without surrender. You remember that moment. Everything collapsed at the same time. Your hope, your health, your relationships, and your money. Suddenly, everything that had provided you with security had been destroyed. You were unable to pay your mounting bills. Individuals you expected to remain absent did so without explanation. Your body began to deteriorate as a result of stress. Your thoughts wandered into unfamiliar, depressing territory. You had every rational reason to abandon the project. Individuals advised you to discontinue. They stated that no one would hold you responsible for your decision to withdraw. Although they gave you permission to surrender, an inner force within you turned down the offer. You were devoid of optimism. You did not observe any solutions. You didn't understand how it could be successful, but you persisted. An extra day. An additional attempt. One more breath forward would have been entirely appropriate when the decision to halt was made. You awoke from your bed when it was perfectly reasonable to stay there. When your legs were about to collapse, you took another step. When your voice was barely audible, you said one more prayer. That refusal to give in when it was clear that it would fail. You passed your initial examination. The second assessment represented an impossible decision. You were forced to choose between 2 equally undesirable options. There were no viable alternatives. Either option would result in significant expenses. One path caused financial hardship, while the other protected your integrity. The alternative involved giving up one's principles in exchange for financial stability. Your expectations were met, but loneliness was the result of one option. The other term denoted companionship, but it also referred to accepting unjust treatment. In one direction, there was a professional struggle, but the work was genuine. The other represented professional development, but it required engaging in an unjust activity. You chose the difficult right over the simple wrong. You valued dignity over convenience. You chose character over comfort, and you never regretted it, even when the consequences were painful, because you knew you had made the right decision that was consistent with your true self. That commitment to integrity at a time when compromise was more possible. You successfully completed your second exam. The third test involved continuation against all evidence. You were working towards something that provided no indication of progress, validation, encouragement, or proof that your efforts were worthwhile. You were building something, but no one believed in it. Everyone questioned your pursuit of a dream. You were preserving your faith, but the circumstances were completely opposite of it. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. There was no discernible difference as the months passed into years. Everyone who witnessed your persistence thought you were foolish. They suggested that you consider other options. They advised you to keep a realistic perspective. They suggested you were wasting your time, but you couldn't stop. Your progress was sustained by an element that went beyond logic. Even when external reality fails to confirm this, some people recognize its significance. They stick to this commitment for months or even years, rather than just a few days or weeks. That persistence, despite the lack of evidence of progress. You successfully completed your third exam. The three tests are the failure to surrender, the impossible decision, and the persistence in the face of overwhelming evidence. Only those who have been chosen are allowed to pass these tests. It is not because you are unique in terms of ego. As a result of your connection to a force that exists beyond human consciousness. Because you operate from a state of consciousness that recognizes reality regardless of the situation. I was certain of your identity after you passed all three assessments and demonstrated a pattern of perseverance that defied logical explanation. I was aware that you are eligible for the protection reserved for beings carrying out missions with a significant impact on thousands. If you agree with these three assessments and are starting to understand why your life has been significantly more difficult than that of your peers, please consider liking this video. I convened an emergency council after you successfully completed the third test, and I verified your status as a chosen individual. The archangels, including Michael, Raphael, Uriel, and Gabriel, have gathered specifically to discuss you. I addressed them with a single question. This person recently successfully completed the comprehensive assessment. Is it necessary to activate protection at level 7? The vote was unanimous and immediate. Permission granted. 7 archangels are currently assigned to your life, providing coordinated protection that the majority of humans will never experience. Michael is responsible for protecting you from direct attacks. He is currently monitoring your energy field. Any weapon designed to harm you, any strategy intended to harm you, or any conspiracy conceived for your destruction is intercepted before it reaches you, and the energy of the attack is reflected back to the sender. Additionally, he is teaching you spiritual warfare through your dreams. Dreams in which you defend or fight. Michael is teaching you the combat skills that will be required for the upcoming events. Raphael helps you recover from injuries inflicted by your adversaries. His current focus is on your emotional recovery, mental restoration, and spiritual renewal as you listen to these words. Despite your difficult circumstances, you occasionally experience an inexplicable sense of calm. Raphael's healing frequencies are rebalancing your nervous system. Uriel downloads wisdom directly into your consciousness. Insights that appear out of nowhere. The solutions that appear when one stops trying to solve a problem. Moments of clarity that completely transform one's perspective. Uriel is transferring information from celestial databases into your awareness. He also demonstrates patterns that will help you identify deception before it manifests. Those instinctual feelings about people that prove to be correct. Uriel informs you of the presence of energetic signatures. Gabriel facilitates communication between you and the resources you need. He is coordinating connections, scheduling meetings, and putting opportunities in your path that appear coincidental but are actually perfectly coordinated. Additionally, he activates your voice. There will be a sense of urgency in expressing the truths about which you have been silent. Gabriel is preparing you to deliver messages, and here's what you should know about your enemies who tried to undermine you. Everything they sent your way is now returning to them, amplified by the severity of their malicious intent. The mirror protocol, as previously mentioned, is not a form of punishment. This is education. It is cosmic justice, ensuring that they face the same consequences as those they attempted to impose on you, allowing them to directly understand why attacking specific souls results in consequences they cannot avoid. You've probably noticed something unusual in their lives recently. Unexpected complications arise out of nowhere. The breakdown of relationships without a clear cause. Opportunities disappear without explanation. Health problems emerge unexpectedly. They don't understand why everything is in disarray. They're evaluating their choices, reviewing their actions, and questioning their strategy. However, they are unable to recognize the true issue because it operates on dimensions that they do not accept. The real issue is that they assaulted someone who was protected by authorities. Laws are not well understood. They cannot manipulate the process of responding to authority. They are incapable of negotiating. Meanwhile, your life is changing in ways you may not be aware of. I will give you a list of 7 indicators that confirm the current efficacy of your angelic protection. Initially, you notice an increase in synchronicities that appear to defy logical explanation. You recall someone, and they promptly contact you. You require something, and it appears from unexpected places. You're perplexed by a question, and the answer appears within hours. The numbers 111, 222, 333, 444, and 777 are all clearly visible. Songs with lyrics that perfectly fit your situation are played at random. Questions that you had recently considered are addressed in conversations that you overhear. These are not just coincidences. These are your angels, who are coordinating the reality around you and confirming that you are on the right track. Second, toxic people will naturally remove themselves from your life without causing drama or conflict. They're simply dissipating, losing interest, and finding reasons to disconnect. Individuals who had previously sought your attention abruptly stopped contacting you. Relationships that were draining spontaneously disintegrated. You're not even attempting to eliminate them. They are evacuating themselves. This is an angelic clearing of your energetic space, allowing for the formation of harmonious connections. Third, your anxiety is decreasing, despite the fact that your situation has not been fully resolved. You are experiencing an inexplicable sense of calm that is not consistent with your surroundings. Despite the fact that you continue to have the same problems, your sleep is improving. Despite the fact that nothing has changed externally, you are feeling less anxious. Raphael's healing rebalances your stress response by focusing on your nervous system. Fourth, you are having unexpected moments of clarity about your purpose or vivid dreams. Messages that differ from typical thoughts. Visions of your future that are more like memories than imagination. A sudden realization about the next steps to be taken. Uriel is downloading data that contains the blueprint for your mission. Fifth, you are starting to see signs of financial relief, even if it is limited to small sums or unexpected refunds. Money that comes from sources that you ignored. Unexpected debt forgiveness. Bills that are lower than anticipated. Opportunities for additional income are presented randomly. Gabriel is opening resource channels in preparation for the upcoming abundance. Sixth, people from your past have unexpectedly contacted you. Some people even expressed regret for their actions toward you. Former acquaintances seeking to reconnect. Former colleagues admit they were mistaken about your status. Individuals who have harmed you are showing remorse without your involvement. This is the mirror protocol, which forces them to seek forgiveness by making them realize the consequences of their actions. Seventh, you are gaining a better understanding of your life's purpose and are motivated to pursue it regardless of the obstacles that may arise. You suddenly feel capable of completing the task you've always wanted. The dream you suppressed is resurfacing with renewed vigor. The call you ignored is pleading for your attention. This marks the beginning of your mission activation, preparing you for the task you have arrived to complete. If you experience 4 or more of these 7 signs, your angelic protection has been confirmed and is active. If you are currently experiencing multiple indicators in your life, please indicate this in the comments section by typing 999. Keep an eye on these indicators as they will become more noticeable over the next 60 to 90 days as your protection reaches its full operational capacity. I will give you a detailed explanation of the upcoming event so that you can identify it when it happens. I will completely reorganize your reality within the next 60 to 90 days. That previously unattainable job opportunity is now within reach. The position that best suits your skills and pays you fairly. The financial breakthrough that you had given up on is now underway. Money from unexpected sources. Unexpected relief from debt. Without the need for begging or struggling, resources are delivered exactly when they are needed. A relationship with someone who truly sees you for who you are. I am currently in the process of setting up that meeting. Someone who recognizes your worth without expecting you to demonstrate it. Someone who celebrates your accomplishments rather than competing with them. An individual who supports your mission rather than undermining it. You will go through a series of beneficial transformations, prompting others to inquire about your identity. Secretly, it is straightforward. Heaven was impressed with your ability to maintain dignity in the face of justifiable destruction, so it decided to show the consequences of celestial forces protecting an individual. In addition, you will meet people who are similar to you. This is easily understandable. Currently, there are about 300 selected individuals on the planet. That is 300 souls out of 8 billion who have the same celestial markings as you. When they arrive, you will immediately recognize each other. Not by using words or explanations. Through energetic recognition that instills a sense of belonging. In a matter of minutes, your conversations will go deeper than most people's relationships do in years. You will be able to communicate with one another without needing to explain. You will instinctively support one another's missions. When you find them, share this message with them to help them understand how their angelic protection works. They must understand that they are not alone in being responsible for missions that are beyond the comprehension of the majority of humans. You will also be more formidable when you work together. You will accomplish feats that are unattainable individually. Collectively, you will create changes in the collective consciousness that will have an impact on future generations. However, I must warn you about a critical issue that will have a significant impact on how you perceive the blessings that are on their way. Your desire to tell others about your breakthrough will grow as your life improves, opportunities multiply, and previously closed doors open. You are likely to want to share your enthusiasm with those around you. You will be compelled to explain the situation. Do not succumb to that urge. Your adversaries are watching you. The same people who sent your photo to an angel in the hopes of being condemned are now watching your life for any signs that you are succeeding. If they see you publicly celebrating or announcing your victories, they will escalate their attacks in an attempt to stifle your progress. Because of your angelic protection, they are no longer able to contact you directly. They can, however, obstruct progress, spread misinformation, and attempt to interfere. They may try to undermine your new opportunities by creating uncertainty. Your new relationships may be jeopardized by their attempts to spread lies. They have the potential to undermine your newly acquired confidence through criticism. The ability to remain silent about your blessings, as well as your pain, is a measure of your success. This is the discipline that separates the chosen souls from the rest. The general populace requires external validation. It is critical that they publicly acknowledge their achievements, showcase their accomplishments, and demonstrate their worth to others. They publicize each accomplishment in order to gain approval. They share every blessing in the pursuit of recognition. Differential operations are performed by selected souls. They understand that their worth does not require public validation. They understand that genuine power operates invisibly. They recognize that the most significant transformations take place in private before they become public knowledge. As your life undergoes significant transformation over the next 90 days, keep a sacred silence about your blessings. Let the results speak for themselves. Allow your transformation to be apparent without explanation. Rather than disclosing your secret, let others speculate on it. This discipline will multiply your blessings by demonstrating that you have learned the lesson that heaven was teaching through your trials. It demonstrates that you act with wisdom rather than ego. It confirms your willingness to take on additional responsibilities. I'll now return to where we started, as understanding this will solidify all of the information I've provided. Your adversaries sent your photograph to an angel in preparation for condemnation. Rather, they sparked recognition. They wanted to render a verdict against you. Instead, they had to judge themselves. They tried to portray you as unworthy. They presented themselves as individuals who were attacking someone whom God was supposed to protect. Every action they took against you was advantageous to you. Your ascension was the result of every strategy they used to undermine you. This is the result of human conspiracies against souls, which angels immediately detect. The consequences of an attack on someone whom heaven has decided to protect are as follows. The angel who saw your photograph didn't just bow in reverence. He informed me directly about the discovery of a chosen soul operating in earthly dimensions. The protocols initiated by that report have altered your entire reality, even if you are only now becoming aware of them. Your photograph was transformed into celestial dimensions. It's no longer just a physical representation. This is now recorded in the Akashic records as proof of your divine status. It bears an energetic signature that all celestial authorities can use to determine your identity. It serves as your spiritual passport to the higher dimensions. You are no longer subject to the same regulations as the general population. The vast majority of people are unable to access the channels through which your experiences are communicated. Your opportunities come from sources that are typically invisible to the average person. Most people do not believe in the dimensions from which your protection operates. Because when angels bow in recognition, heaven activates maximum protection. And I personally authorize level 7 shielding around a person's identity. The ordinary becomes extraordinary, and the chosen is undeniable. Your life will never be the same. It's not because the situation was magically resolved. As a result of a fundamental change in the rules governing your reality. You are currently operating under divine jurisdiction. Furthermore, divine jurisdiction implies that your adversaries may devise schemes, but they will eventually fail. Regardless of their strategic ability, their strategies will fail. They can strike, but their weapons revert to their original state. This is the new standard for you. This is the result of authorities operating in higher dimensions confirming a person's celestial status. The photograph that they used to condemn you was later used as proof of your divine origin. They consulted an angel who was appointed as your personal guardian. The attack they intended to carry out triggered the activation of your highest level of protection. For those who have reached this point and recognized their own celestial essence being revealed through these words, and who felt profound resonance when I described the angel bowing in reverence, I have created a tool to help you consciously enhance your angelic connection. It includes detailed instructions for using your celestial protection, as well as an additional meditation that allows you to communicate directly with the angels. Access is available via the description and pinned comment. This is a less expensive option than dining out and provides resources to strengthen the divine relationship that is already established in your life. If you believe that your genuine restraint has impressed heaven enough to activate angelic protection around your identity, please include the number 777 in the comments section to increase the frequency of celestial recognition. To learn more about how your authentic essence creates miracles in higher dimensions that manifest as blessings in your earthly existence, subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications. Share this video with someone who also demonstrates dignity and restraint, as they may be attracting angelic recognition without their knowledge. This is necessary for chosen souls to recognize and support one another. And before you leave, watch the video that appears on your screen to learn how your newly activated celestial protection attracts opportunities that appear to be tailor-made for you. We all ascend toward the light.